What is up, everybody? My hair is sticking straight out the side, and I have not been doing a lot of work. We're gonna get back to it today. Haha. Yeah, it has been a couple weeks since I filmed anything. I don't know. Life's just been busy, and you can't tell by the way it looks today, but it has been freezing cold and raining for the last like 2 weeks. So, I think I'm getting old because I get miserable when it's freezing temperatures and I'm trying to work. So, but we're back. We're back at it today. I have done some work. If you've been around, you know the car is now facing the other direction. Because obviously put a motor in it and stuff, it's gonna be easier this way. And that brings us to this. It's been in the background of all the videos. I don't know if I've really talked about it. This is gonna be the motor for the car. It is as run-of-the-mill small block Chevy as you can get. It's a 283. It's out of I think he said a 64 C10 truck. Obviously, you know, little carburetor. Still got points and all that stuff. But it is complete. So I've done a bunch of stuff. I did a bunch of cleaning on it. A bunch. It was fairly clean, and I just kind of scrubbed it and cleaned most of the oil. Honestly, this thing was pretty dry. It's one of the cleanest fresh pulled out motors I've seen in a while. But yeah, it's just like a fully complete little motor. Even got manifolds, and I also got the bell housing all cleaned up, and we've got a nightmare going on with the transmission, which we will cover later. But I think for today's video, my goal, this thing still has oil in it, and the guy I got it from claims that they couldn't get he said he couldn't get the valves adjusted right. When the truck had been sitting a long time, they tried to get it running. He says they couldn't get the valves adjusted right, which they shouldn't have needed adjusted. He was very adamant that he's not a motor guy, and I think what might have happened is the hydraulic lifters might have collapsed from it sitting, and they may have tried to adjust them with no oil in them, is what I'm kind of thinking. But he did say it ran and stuff. So the goal for today, like I said, still got oil in it. I bought a priming tool, so I think we're gonna try and get this thing. We'll pull valve covers, try and get it on top dead center, and then pull the distributor out and try and prime it with the old oil that's in it, because if we can get it to prime up and make oil pressure, I've got a mechanical gauge we can put on it too. If we can get it to make oil pressure that way, I'll feel comfortable putting it in the car. And then we can, if we make oil pressure, then we can adjust the valves the right way and kind of see what we get into there. Worst case, I feel like I got a pretty good deal on this thing. So if it doesn't work out, then I don't know, I'll part it out or something. But actually, I think I could sell it not running for what I bought it for. So yeah, that's what we got. So I'm gonna get set up, and we're gonna see if we can't get to work on this thing and see if we got a good motor or not. Well, we'll see if it's got oil pressure. Might not have compression. Who knows? But hang on. Well, I jumped ahead just a little bit. I figured you guys didn't want to watch me label firing order and, you know, pull off this stuff that the plugs, I don't know, they look a little rich, maybe a lot rich, but they don't look bad, so I'm gonna take that. Right now I have the motor, you guys won't be able to tell, but I have it on the compression, like that's when this cylinder would fire. Right now I have it on number 1, and what I'm gonna go through, this is I'm gonna go through and set all these. I'm gonna back, you gotta go through the firing order when you're doing this, and I can tell you right now this one is way too tight. Anyway, I'm gonna go through and set all these off the firing order, and we will kind of have a base setting, just backing these off until they're loose. Okay, and then the procedure here is, I don't like how tight that is on the threads. Maybe just a little bit of, you want to be able to still spin the push rod and just barely take up the slack, which right now it's going to be impossible for you guys to see, but there's just a little bit there. You just slowly tighten it till you get rid of the slack in the lifter. Maybe I go a little faster. A little bit more. Now the bad thing about this is there's no, this thing's been sitting, so the chances that that lifter is bled down are pretty high. So that right there, it's basically 0 lash, and the normal setting for 0 lash, from what I've done and seen and read, it would be half a turn. But I think what we're going to do, because we don't have oil pressure or nothing yet, is I think I'm going to do a 1/4 turn past 0 lash. And I don't know, it feels pretty tight, but that, we're going to have to come back through and reset these. And if we make oil pressure on the drill, then we should be able to get a more accurate setting. And I'm just going to repeat that process all through the firing order, and that'll give us kind of a baseline to start at, since I don't know exactly what was done when they were adjusted before. So okay, this is number 1 cylinder. I got all the valves set, if you will. So I need to get compression stroke on number 1 so we can pull the distributor out. And the way that I do it is I just stick my finger in here and turn the motor over, and I don't know if you guys heard that. That's it, making compression and pushing air by my finger. And then we'll just go It'll do that a little bit before top dead center. I don't know if you guys can see. Here's our timing marks. And it's very hard to see because everything's wore out and dirty. But that right there is top dead center on the #1 cylinder. You guys may not be able to see, but that where the grooves are inside there, that's actually the top of the piston. So that tells me we're in the right spot. And now we can get the distributor out, start trying to prime this thing. Hopefully. And before we start yanking the distributor out, we know that we're at top dead center on the #1 cylinder. So to make sure we can put this back where it goes, save us a little headache later on, I'm going to make a mark on the body of the distributor there. That probably looks like a wide mark, but eyeballing it, it's about the width of the this thing. So that's kind of why I did it that way. And I'm also going to make a mark right here just as a backup. Let's just make a bunch of marks, and then we'll get all confused later and won't be able to put it back in correctly. That's fine. Or vacuum line off. And just a 9/16 for the hold down. Basically, by marking all that, everything should go back together reasonably in the right place. Obviously, once we start trying to fire it up, we'll have to check timing and such. And that should just lift out of here. It does look like they put new points on it. And maybe new cap and everything. Or rotor and everything. I don't know. Stuff doesn't look super old. So, maybe it'll work. I have terrible luck with points. So, I probably won't be able to get them to work. But, you never know. Could go differently this time. Doesn't look like it's plumb full of water or metal debris, so that's good. Basically what I have, this simulates having the distributor in it. There's an oil galley that goes around. It goes around the distributor. If you don't have a tool or an old distributor body with that piece on it, you will not make oil pressure. You will spin this thing and spin this thing and spin this thing, and it'll never make pressure. So these things are super cheap on Amazon. Just PSA, I hate the blue. I wanted the red. The red was more expensive. I'm cheap, so whatever, personal preference. So this should drop down on there. Find the oil pump drive. I don't know if that's on it or not, but we'll say it is. Sounds good. Oh, there it went. Now we're on it. So, what I am going to do now, which I'm not going to show you, is I'm going to swap out this oil sender right here. Okay, first things first, sorry about the wind noise. Nothing I can do about it. There's a storm blowing in this afternoon, supposedly. So, it is what it is. Anyway, I rigged up some stuff This was not my initial plan. I actually have I bought a set of gauges and I was gonna set that up, and then I found this pressure gauge. I bought it for fuel pressure, but it was the wrong gauge, and I don't know, it might work, it might not. I also can't find my thread tape, so that's gonna leak for sure, but that'll be fine. And I got my drill hooked up, so we're gonna spin this thing. We're looking for two things. We're looking for oil out of the top of these rockers. That's what I was looking for. And let's see if this gauge is gonna read. I don't know if it is, but we're about to find out. Oh, instant oil pressure. Okay. And I don't know if you guys can see it, but that is filling up with oil. So I'm gonna set you guys up, and I'm gonna keep priming this thing, and then you'll kind of see. I'm gonna turn the motor over a little bit at a time as I'm priming it. And the reason you gotta do that is because if you don't turn the motor over, some of the oil galleys are gonna be blocked. So as you turn it, they gain access to oil. Everything's relying on RPM with these motors, so everything's gotta spin. So I'm gonna sit here and prime this for a little bit and rotate it over and see if I can't get oil to all the lifters and everything. Hi. I was about to do this and not film it because I feel like most people probably know, but if there's one or two of you that don't, I guess I'll touch on it. There's a lot of people better than me at this kind of stuff, but I'm getting ready to put the distributor in. One thing you gotta take, a couple things you gotta take into consideration. This gear is not straight cut. It's whatever this is called. I don't know. I'm gonna make up a word. Helical, because I don't know. My brain says maybe. And so what that's gonna do is as you drop it into the teeth of the cam, it's actually gonna rotate that. So if you can see, this is what I used as a reference. This is where my mark is at. What's going to happen is as you drop this down, it's going to rotate. It's just the way that the gears mesh. So you should be a little bit before your mark when you start. The other thing you got to look at is this blade in here. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a piece in there. That's what drives your oil pump. What you gotta do, and you're not gonna be able to see it, it's just the way it is, but if you look down in there, you can see the receiver for this in the drive for the oil pump. And what you do is just take a long screwdriver, flat blade, and you just reach down there and try and get it close to the right spot. And if you do it correctly, when you put the distributor down in there, it'll all just kind of fall all the way into place. If this is not engaged, the gear will engage, but you'll have a space here. So if you have a space there, your oil pump drive is not in the correct spot. And you can, if you're 100% confident that you have the position correct on the gear, you can just rotate the motor over and eventually it will fall down onto the drive. I prefer to try and get it in one shot if I can. Sometimes it doesn't work out that way, but if you can get it in one shot, especially if the motor's not in the car. If the motor's in the car, it's very hard to get back here and see. But we'll see, now that I've talked about it, if I can be about it. You know what I'm saying? Okay, that went all the way down, but I think I'm a tooth off on the cam based on my marks. So we're gonna rotate this a little bit more. Also, make sure the motor's on top dead center on #1 cylinder if that's what you used to make your mark. You can use any cylinder, but you just gotta make sure you use the same one every time. That's why it's usually easier just to use #1. And all that talk I did is not working out for me. Shocker. Maybe that was like that. Maybe. Essentially this, you can move it, but you do want to make sure that you're in the ballpark. And I actually think that's where I was at to start with, because this was something like that. So I feel reasonably confident that we are in the ballpark. So never mind. Scratch all that. Well, I'm gonna actually do what I just said instead of just talking about it, because I have not done a good job, and that's what I get for feeling like I might know something. And I'm kind of buttoning this deal up, but I wanted to show real quick. I did get oil up. The only one that didn't was this one. I'm not too worried about it. It got oil everywhere. It did take a long time to get oil to this side, which I think is just the way the oil galleys are by design. So I'm not too worried about that one. We got oil everywhere, flowing pretty good, and I reset the valve lash and everything. There's definitely a couple that got tighter with the oil pressure, so I think we did ourselves a little bit good there. I'm sitting here looking at this thing and it is a mess. It's very dirty, and I'm sure somebody's wondering why I'm not cleaning it and painting it and all that stuff. Here's the thing. I don't know. I don't have a great reason other than maybe I'm just being lazy, but this motor, as cheap as it was, and the potential of it having issues, I could spend 2 or 3 days really trying to clean this thing up, make it look nice, repainting everything, new gaskets and all this stuff. And then we could put it in the car and it could not be any good. So, I think, honestly, my tentative plan right now is like, this thing is going to go in the car pretty much just how it is, other than what I've got to change to make it work in the car, which is what we're going to do next. That oil pan. But I'm going to just try to get this deal together and get it running. Once it's running, we'll figure out issues we have, kind of deal with them then. And then maybe next winter, if this thing runs killer and does everything I need to do, then maybe next winter we'll pull it out and like detail it all up and make it really nice. But honestly, The car is nice, but it's not perfect, and I'm not gonna sit here and polish it all up because I can't see none of this stuff while I'm riding down the road. Hopefully, unless something's gone very badly. So that's my explanation for that, is essentially a bunch of excuses for why I'm lazy. I was just getting oil pan cleaned up to start swapping it. I'm already drained the oil and everything. This is the filter out of it. This is a canister style, so old style oil filter. So I bought an adapter for that. These are complete garbage, but it is what it is. I was just getting ready to dive into all that and start filming it, and I looked up, and happy sunny sky, angry, about to get rowdy sky. So I'm gonna film changing it because I'm gonna try and keep working as long as I don't get completely poured on. And now I can hear it raining. That's good. But audio is gonna be terrible. Video is probably gonna be terrible. Let's be honest, it probably already was. Oh, crash, crash, bang, crash. Yeah, I should probably be going inside right now. Just saying. But I got projects to finish, right? Okay, I'm getting rained on. That's not good. Oh well. Just a little rain. Never killed nobody. Someday, I mean this, I'm gonna have a shop. I'm gonna look back and laugh about all the times I had to work in the rain, or the snow, or the cold. Alright, really, the cold is not that bad if you're not outside in it. I could live with that. These dirt daubers are really... They didn't do me any favors here. Get off of there. Is there a bolt right there? Yep. Oh God. Go on there. We might have to reevaluate this situation. Spicy, spicy storm. Oh God. It's a tornado. Oh no. I'm just kidding, it's not a tornado. I hope. It'd be a dumb way to die. Working on an old junk motor. But, honestly, probably pretty fitting. Just keep working, just keep working, just keep working, don't get wet. God almighty. Call me Dorothy, because I'm about to get blown up out of this place. Woo! Here I was thinking that changing the oil pan was just going to be a nice, simple job. I'm getting wet. Ah! I might have to abort this mission. We'll see. Ah! I'm getting so moist. Ah, lightning! Okay, go back. I changed my mind. Go back. Why you no go? Okay. Ah! You jerk. We're gonna have to abort mission because I don't want to pull the oil pan off in this. I'm gonna try and put some of my valuables away before they get taken away from me. Well, the storm is kind of past. I just went in and did some chores, waited on it to quit, and just a school bus with a rod knock. That's fine. I went ahead and got the pan off, as you can see, and this is kind of a new one for me. I don't know if you guys can see, but it is quite sludgy. I think if I had to guess, there's been condensation in here, and it's just look how deep that is. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but it's pretty gross. So I've been trying to kind of see. I don't see, that just looks like moisture to me. I don't see any shiny metallic-ness in it. So I'm going to take a good look at all this stuff and clean up my gasket that didn't come off with the pan. I'm sure that pickup's probably pretty plugged. It's also not sitting level, which could be an issue, could not. Might have saved it, honestly, if it wasn't sitting down and all that. So I don't know. We're gonna find out. Luckily, I've got that other oil pan and everything that's got to go on it anyway, because this would be a real mess to clean up if I had to reuse it all. So a lot of so's. And we're back again. Back again. I cleaned up the best I could, considering, and I need to, before I can do anything with the pan, I've got to swap out this this pickup, because the Nova pans are a front sump, not a rear sump. Sump. I don't know. It's a fun word. Anyway, I gotta get this off. Get that other pump swapped on. Get off of there. Get off of there, little buddy. Okay. Chaos and mayhem. I have no intentions of pulling caps or anything like that, because honestly, if the bearings are smoked in this thing, I'm not gonna do anything about it anyway. We're just gonna send it. That's basically what all that's coming down to. I don't know where the hole is that I'm supposed to be in. Story of my life. Let me come over here where I get eyes on the hole. And it's kind of what I was thinking, is we're gonna have to, I don't know if you guys can see, we're gonna pull this main cap bolt off, and this bolt's on there. So I gotta get some stuff. Now that I stepped away for 3 seconds and cleared my head, I'm gonna do what I just said I wasn't gonna do, which I was not gonna check any bearings, but I gotta pull this off anyway. I might as well just check that one, and then I can retorque it kind of evenly ish, in theory. Am I going the right way? Yep. Get on there. I mean, it doesn't really make sense to take this loose and not at least kind of check it, right? And if it looks really bad, I'm just not going to show you guys. I'm going to put it back together anyway, because I like to party. Give me that paper towel. You can see there's copper starting to show through, but there's not any super deep gouges. The scratches you can't see because those scratches won't even catch my nail. So I'm gonna send it. Not that I wasn't going to anyway. Now there's gonna be a lot of things going on here all at once, because we gotta get okay, that'll hold that. Then we gotta try and line up this guy, which, if I would have been thinking earlier, I would have waited to put the distributor back in, but we got it. Everything's going fine. Run that up nice and easy. Got it. Everything is going great. It's just so great. Couldn't imagine it being any better. We're gonna tighten the crap out of that. I'm gonna snug them up kind of evenly with the ratchet. They'll get torqued to 65 to 70 foot-pounds as soon as I find a socket. Ah! Idiot. Took me a minute, but I found what I was looking for. And I'm gonna set this guy. Let's call it 68. This will probably be fine. For the record, that's why I don't like taking caps and stuff off unless I feel like I have to, because they were torqued right from the factory. So all I'm gonna do is screw it up. And all of you are really about to get upset because I'm about to do it with an extension. Okay. And that's that. I gotta get prepped up and get that oil pan set on. Okay, I have done all I'm gonna do. Got everything cleaned up as good as it's gonna be. This looks very wrong to me because this is supposed to be, you can't see, but the sump looks very backwards to me because it is. And I'm not used to working on these high-end Chevy 2s. Now the key here is to get my audio ruined by a screaming child and an airplane. It's fine. Oh God. Oh God. This went badly. That plan sucked. Okay. Please just be okay. we're doing something. It's not going well. Come on, I just need a bolt to start. Why are you fighting me so bad? Woo. Starting to get a little frustrated. Ha 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 ha. We're having fun. Working on cars is fun. We're supposed to be having fun. The dang silicone's gonna set before I get a freaking bolt started. Golly, we got one. Now we just have a crap ton more. Sometimes they're nice and they make the holes a little smaller in the gasket, and they'll hold the bolts and it helps line everything up. Not the case on this particular set of gaskets. It's okay. Everything's fine. Oil pan complete. The last thing on my list for today is changing out this oil filter adapter with the, I think I showed it earlier, the Mr. Gasket part number 1270, which will just be a spin-on filter, you know, like what we consider normal nowadays, because it wasn't always normal to have a spin-on filter, obviously. So, first things first. Now these things are a complete nightmare to install. I hate them. The way they decide to do the O-ring and stuff, it's so freaking hard to get it to go together right. And it would be easier if the motor was upside down, but I don't want to make the mess, because it will undoubtedly pour coolant and oil and crap everywhere, and I just don't want to deal with that. So I'm gonna beat my head against the wall for the next, I don't know, 20 or 30 minutes probably, because I'm stubborn. Ask my wife, she'll tell you. Come off of there. No? What's holding you in there? Huh, buddy? What is it? I'm gonna get you out of there. One way or another. Told you. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you one way or another. I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna get you one way. Huh. Anyway. That doesn't seem right. Is that right? Hold on. I got Google. And currently you guys are on my Google device. Okay, I'm back. I Googled and I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking about. But this valve stays in there. I have the bolts in there just to kind of hold it in place. And this needs to go around the outside there. I'm trying to remember. I put an adapter in the motor that's in the old truck, the C10, I don't remember it being like this, but I don't know. It's been, I think I seen on Facebook the other day, it's been like 7 years since I put that motor together. So, you know, I've slept a few times since then. So that seal, seal, goes like that, I guess. And I'm gonna have to we've got new bolts. This actually goes on over that. And I've got to, I'm gonna have to pull those bolts out and then line up new bolts. Got a little bit of Loctite on those. So these, I think that O-ring will hold this in place. Maybe. I'll tell you what, this video is going to end up being a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. Sorry about that. Use the large hole only for use large hole only for 396, 427, 454 cubic inch engines. So I guess I definitely ain't got one of them. So I guess we'll use the small holes. Okay? Maybe. Get in there. Where's my tightening device? There's about a 300% chance this thing's gonna leak like a sieve when I get oil running through it. I also don't have a filter to put on it right now, so that's probably fine. I don't want to just ramrod it in there because that seal has got to seal, you know. I don't know what to do about that deal. I don't know how that's supposed to, maybe it'll bottom out on something when I get this tight. We'll see. Isn't it weird that nothing comes with directions anymore? Like, I know I buy a lot of cheap stuff, but you'd think they could put some, maybe like, tighten this part, don't tighten this part, don't do this, do that. I'm a man, but I'll read instructions. I don't mind. It really doesn't bother me all that much. Especially if it saves me breaking something. That would be fine. What could possibly go wrong? I wasn't going to show any of this, but I was just doing some final little things. They're on these new motor mounts. And I was taking the lower portion of the manifolds off because I plan on using them. And I've got new gaskets for this. For when we go to build the exhaust. But I came across this. Now, I've done some stuff in my time. You guys have seen some of it. Piece of cardboard as a exhaust gasket. That's a new one. I'm no expert, but heat and cardboard probably not gonna work. But hey, I give them A for effort, I guess. Maybe B minus for effort. Okay. I'm actually calling this a successful day in the carport. Pretty much exactly what I wanted to get done, which never happens. So I feel pretty good about that. Now, this will go in here at some point. We still got the next video we gotta try and figure out a bunch of shifter, transmission stuff. I don't know how that's gonna go, but the motor is ready. I think I mentioned earlier I could spend a ton of time cleaning it all up. I'm losing light pretty quick, so I could spend a ton of time cleaning it up and everything, but same goes for the engine compartment. And I don't care to have a show car. I don't care if the motor's missing some paint. As long as that sun gun runs good, I'm doing all right. So that is going to do it for this video. I know it's probably been a long one, and it may not seem like I got a lot done, but I mean, that we went from a motor that we didn't know if it'd make any oil pressure to a motor with all the accoutrements, big word, to go into the Nova. So I'm happy as clam, and that's gonna be the end of the video. Check back next time. I don't know when I'll be posting again. I'm gonna just start doing the best I can, and it's not gonna be every Friday. So see you on the next one. Come out.